Welcome back, everybody. If you're looking to reach Masterball quickly, because we only have 2-3 weeks this season to make that happen, you have come to the right place. I'm going to show you the best deck list that you can use right now to hit Masterball quickly. What I do on this channel is I go over the more competitive side of Pokemon Pocket. So if you would like to see more of that content, I do full deck breakdowns. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video so you don't miss an upload. What we're going to do today is I'm going to go over the top 6 decks that I would be playing for ranked right now. And I'll try to drop as much knowledge as possible. I'm going to show you the deck list. I'm going to show you what matchups they are favored into, what matchups they are not favored into. We will go over potential cards that you might want to include in the list. I'm going to try to make this as jam-packed with knowledge as possible so you can hit Master Ball no problem. All right, and the first deck I want to look at is this is going to be the number 6 slot. All right, this is like my pet deck at the moment. I really enjoy it, but I can recognize that it is not the best pick by any means into what the other top decks are. So this is Mega Absol, focused on the baby Absol that's going to let you put 30 wherever you want, and then boosting the damage of everything with the double Nihilego and the double Poison Barbs. We also play double Pokemon Center Lady because a lot of decks in the meta right now are playing 30 ping to the bench. And with Mega Absol, like, we don't have anything super aggressive besides Mega Absol, right? He's our big attacker. What we really want to set up, or try to set up, is a board state where we have double Mega Absol in play, or our opponent puts their Mega down a little bit too quickly, and so we're able to leap over with the baby Absol, ping 30 to the bench, and then Cyrus that Mega up after we've done enough damage, and two-shot it with our own Mega Absol while also discarding supporter cards. All of that to say is we need to put our Mega Absol down quickly, so we need to make sure that that same play is not happening to us. You think Blaziken with Heat more, they are pinging 30 to the bench. Altaria is pinging 30 to the bench. Pretty much every main deck has a way to damage the bench, and it's just nice to erase that damage with the Pokemon Center Lady. Double Cyrus also very crucial. Again, that's like our whole game plan, is being able to Cyrus around things and take out the target that we are looking for. So it's very important to play 2 of them. The Guzma has felt very, very good as well. Gets rid of giant capes. And double Poison Barb, another necessity. I also really like the Copycat in here. I was playing the list originally with just double Research, but I think the Copycat has proven itself to me. I really can't stand playing a deck, even one that seems as consistent as this, right? We're just all basics. We're not even trying to evolve. The Copycat feels very necessary. If I was playing a Stage 2 deck that doesn't have any other form of draw in it, I would not even consider playing the deck without double Copycat. It is just that strong right now. You should be playing it in the deck. You should be playing it in your deck. Stage 2s should be playing 2 of them. You are just so much more consistent that way with that double Copycat in here. So yeah, the deck just really, it just looks to deal 30 with baby Absol. And what you kind of want to set up for in the early game is, if possible, get an Absol down that you're using 30 ping with. Try to set up like double Nihilego and then 1 Mega Absol. You could also make double baby Absol, 1 Nihilego, 1 Mega Absol as your board state, and that'll do fine, because there are times where you want to ping 30 with Absol and then ping 30 with Absol again after that one gets knocked out. There are just a lot of plays that this opens up, and there are even some matchups like the Altaria matchup where you might just ignore the Mega Altaria altogether, because most of them are playing Indeedee. And so what you'll often find is, well, they're attacking with either Chingling or Jirachi in the active spot. That little baby might get knocked out by the poison damage from the Poison Barb, and you can just ping 30 to the Indeedee and then go Cyrus on Indeedee with Mega Absol. It has 130 HP. You do 30 to it. It's weak to dark. Mega Absol is going to do 80 plus 20 for weakness. It adds up to 130, and you can win the game without ever even paying attention to the Mega Altaria. Very, very cool. But this deck has just felt so much fun to me. I really, really love getting a double Mega Absol board state down, because then what you're doing is you are attacking with Mega Absol, your first Mega Absol, discarding their Cyruses, their Sabrinas, their Lilies if it's that kind of deck, and then you're able to retreat into the other Mega Absol, and if you miss the Cyrus, or maybe you're afraid they're playing double Cyrus, you can discard that other one, And then, like, you have a damaged Mega Absol on the bench, and it doesn't matter. They're not accessing it. You took away all ways for them to access it. So the double Mega Absol feels really, really good. I've been having a lot of fun with this deck, and honestly, there are a lot of other Mega Absol variants out there. There is Mega Absol Naganado Nihilego, doesn't play any of the baby Absols. There's Mega Absol Crobat. There are a lot of different ways to play Mega Absol right now. Mega Absol Darkrai has kind of fallen off. People don't really play that deck anymore, just so you know. I think it's been outclassed. It's just hard for it to deal with the 30 ping, unless you put double Pokemon Center Lady in there, whatever. Like, the Oricorio is just not, it's not doing as much in a deck like that. I prefer this version out of all of those. I've tried them all, and I don't like them as much. They just don't feel as consistent. I really love the double baby Absol. I am biased. If you're new to the channel, I am very biased to ping 30 to the bench. It's like what I've played since the game has come out. I have played so many Hitmonlee decks because that was really the only way to do it for the longest time in a like fun fashion or a consistent fashion was Hitmonlee. I had the same attack as baby Absol, and I played it a bunch. So it's like, it's my favorite playstyle for the game, so there's some bias there, but I'm telling you, this has felt way more consistent than the other one. And now I'll show you the actual matchups on this deck. Like, why would we be playing this, right? Like, how are we doing into the meta? So against other Absol variants, I think you're favored that don't have ping 30 to the bench, because you are able to access their Mega Absol before they can access yours. So you can damage the Mega Absol, Cyrus it up, go get it. Mega Altaria has also felt very, very, very favored. The only way you're gonna lose to Mega Altaria for the most part is if you brick. Obviously, I mean, any deck's gonna lose if they brick. But if they are playing weirder variants, like I've lost games on ladder that just are not playing the standard list, which, I'm gonna be honest, if you're not playing the standard list, that's a whole thing I could go into. The way I'll say it is if you're teching cards out for certain matchups, it comes at a detriment to other matchups. So like, you might slightly improve one bad matchup, but maybe that bad matchup was just meant to be a bad matchup, and you're taking away from your good matchups as well. So I've run into decks that are playing like double Indeedee, which is not common unless you're playing like a Giratina variant. I've run into one deck that was playing double Pokemon Center Lady and double Giant Cape. Like, again, not how I would play Mega Altaria, but in that case, yeah, they got a free win on me, but I'm sure they've taken many losses to these other top decks that like they don't care that you're playing that sort of thing. It's not going to help you. So that's like the only way you're going to lose to Mega Altaria is if they're playing some weird variant or you brick. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to set up game against Mega Altaria. Hydreigon feels fairly even to me. What you want to do in that matchup is they're going to go for an aggressive Hydreigon like 99% of the time. And so what you're going to want to do is kind of just use your baby Absol with a Poison Barb on it as like a, hey, come take him. I'm going to deal 30 damage wherever I can. I don't really care. He's going to get knocked out. Then you will send up a second baby Absol or a Nihilego, something that isn't a Mega Absol of your own. Let that go down. By that time, the poison damage on the Hydreigon plus the natural 30 damage they're doing to themselves, your Mega Absol will be able to come in, knock out that Hydreigon, and hopefully you've set up like double Mega Absol, and then your two Mega Absols can just deal with the rest of their board, because you're asking, like, your opponent's asking a lot to get double Hydreigon down. Even that you can get through. If they bench Mega Absol, you've got a clear way to win the game that way. There's just ways that like it can go well for you, like very well for you, and then they could also just high roll Hydreigon really, really quickly, and you're kind of stuck. It's the same thing with Mega Blaziken. Mega Blaziken, this is definitely the most, like, the biggest game of chicken out of all of these matchups, because if they start Heatmore and you start baby Absol, or even if they start Heatmore and you start something that isn't Mega Absol, you're going to be in this thing where, all right, they don't want to bench their Torchics. I don't want to bench my Mega Absols. We're kind of just going to be trading little bits of damage or just not even attacking until things are set up. And in that matchup, I would say probably don't bench your Mega Absol until you have properly put damage on the Blazikens, or you're worried your opponent is about to go into Mega Blaziken. And you have a Pokemon Center Lady in hand, because that way they ping 30 on the Mega Absol, you just go Pokemon Center Lady, I don't care. And then he's set up, and then maybe you knock out the Heat more or whatever, and then they just have to come up with Mega Blaziken. They don't have a way to ping 30 to your Mega Absol, and now their Mega's in the active spot while yours is safely on the bench. That's how you want things to go. Magnezone Oricorio. This matchup is, you know, I'm like in between on. The Oricorios are going to take a lot of punishment from that Poison Barb. You can put Baby Absol in the active spot, start pinging 30 to the Magnemites on the bench. Oricorio is going to attack into that Baby Absol, start taking a lot of poison damage. That's going to get knocked out eventually from that. Set up your Mega Absol, Cyrus around, make sure you're taking out those Magnezones. Probably don't swing into a Magnezone unless you know you're going to knock it out. And that matchup can go well for you. It can also go badly for you. Like if they high roll and they're able to set up double Magnezone, things are going to be a little bit rough for you. A good thing about this deck also, I will say quickly, is that a lot of these decks, like the Magnezone and the Mega Blaziken, they are super focused on, Copycat. And we can play our hand down like really, really aggressively. We've got basics that can just slam onto the bench. We got the Poison Barbs, the X Speeds. We have red cards to slow them down. Like we just have a lot of cards that we can play out of our hand and kind of keep our opponent to, if they're going to use Copycat, they're only going to get 2 or 3 cards from it. So you can really slow those decks down. And then the Suicune variants do not feel good to me. It's like if you start Baby Absol, that's probably your worst case, is starting Baby Absol, because, I mean, you might be able to knock out a Froakie early. Maybe, probably not. They're probably going to Irida it, or put a giant cape on it, or rare candy it into a Greninja, and you're just not going to have a way to knock it out. And then the 2 Suicunes can really easily deal with Mega Absol. So that matchup, it's not impossible. I've won games against Suicune, but overall, it's just not a good time. Suicune definitely has a very, very good time against this variant of Mega Absol. So those are the matchups. Now you know, like what is it, if you're playing this deck, what is it that you're targeting? So if you end up running into a bunch of Suicunes on the ladder in a row, you know, maybe put this deck aside, play something else. Coming in at number 5, I have Mega Blaziken. Now, this deck has a very clear goal, and that is the high roll. I played this deck to a tournament, and I played it without double Copycat, and I can confidently say, do not do that. Play either double Copycat or 1 Copycat, 1 May. Do not play this list without those. You are asking to, like, be you're asking to high roll at such an unbelievable level. Even in a best 2 out of 3 tournament, I was still, like, every other game, it felt like, I was just bricking. I was not setting up Mega Blaziken. So, don't play this deck without double Copycat or something like that. Cards to consider in here are really just a red card, honestly. And that I would either replace the Lily for or the second Rocky Helmet. Another consideration is double Cyrus, and that, again, I would say either a Lily or the second Rocky Helmet for. All of those cards felt very important to me as I played them, so this is the list I've settled on. I wouldn't play it any other way, but those are the other cards to consider. Mega Blaziken, I mean, what more to say? It's going to ping 30 to the bench with Heat more, and then you're going to use Mega Blaziken and just kind of sweep everything. It's just a really hard Pokemon to deal with. It has effectively 270 HP when you consider that Lily as well. Most Pokemon are not really going to be able to two-shot it. And you can control, like, when the Mega enters the active spot because of your Heat more. So, yeah, it's a high-roll deck. I mean, not much more to say. We can just hop over to the matchup chart for it. Okay, so this is the actual matchup data for tournaments, right? And here's what I will say, because it looks like, oh, everything's just kind of even, seems good. It's like, if Mega Blaziken high rolls, oh, favored. Even. You know, if it high rolls, like, everything kind of goes up a tier. If it low rolls and it takes you forever to get Blaziken set up, which it kind of just does, everything goes down here, right? Like, this is a very, I would say, even if it high rolls, like, these decks will still give it problems. If it high rolls, these decks can be dealt with very, very easily. It's just, Blaziken's biggest enemy is itself. It doesn't really do it consistently enough to boost any of these matchups into favored. So again, like, this is just the high roll deck, man. If you're feeling lucky, you play Blaziken and you just hope to sweep your opponent before they can really get anything set up. That's what Blaziken's gonna do, man. Reliably, I don't think so. Again, I played it to a tournament, and I don't think I was even winning enough with it. When I started the tournament, I started out very, very hot. I won like 4 or 5 games just in a row, and you know, if you're playing ranked, that's great. Going on a 5 win streak is fantastic. That's going to net you a good amount of points. But just know, on the other hand, this deck can just as easily lose 5 in a row because you don't get your Blaziken set up until the game's already over. Like, it's just how it's going to go. So while I am like here recommending it at number 5, just know that, again, like, you are not playing something consistent that's going to execute its game plan every single time. It's really just going to be dependent on, can you get Mega, because it's Mega Blaziken or bust. There's nothing else. You have Heat Mores as your other Pokemon. Heat Mores are not going to win you the game. It's Mega Blaziken that's going to win you the game. And if you don't find it, you lose. It's that simple. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Mega Blaziken, high roll deck. Not much more to say. Coming in at number 4, I have Magnezone Oricorio. And the only way that my list differs from most main list is main list are playing the Chingling. Now, the Chingling, I am not sold on because a lot of the strength of this deck comes from you are forcing your opponent to either go through double Oricorio, 1 Magnezone, or 1 Oricorio, double Magnezone. Very, very difficult. The Chingling is a super, super easy 30 poke to the bench card that, like, if Chingling's on the bench, that's 1 point your opponent can gain off of it. That is one less Oricorio they got to get through, 1 less Magnezone they have to get through. That's really tough. Like, the draw of this deck is that you have a very big Magnezone, 160 HP with the giant cape, and Oricorios, which can't be damaged by EXs. So it is a struggle for decks to get through everything that this deck throws at them. So I like not playing the Chingling in favor of Guzma. Now, decks like Mega Blaziken and a lot of these new poison variants of Absol, their best way of dealing with the Oricorios is that passive damage, either through burns or poison or Rocky Helmet damage, that sort of stuff. And Guzma can take care of that problem. Guzma is going to knock off those tool cards and make it so you don't have to poison yourself. You don't have to take 20 from a Rocky Helmet with it. Guzma, I think, fixes some of those matchups, which are on paper slightly worse than you would like. And I don't think losing the Chingling is really a big detriment. Because, like, what's the Chingling for? It might slow down Blaziken a bit. It will enable, like, your copycats to work better if you can keep their hand size big by not allowing them to play Pokeballs or rare candies, whatever. But like Hydreigon, you'll see Hydreigon's not a good matchup. The Chingling is not going to fix it for you. They have great ways to deal with the Oricorios. They can do, I mean, they have the Hydreigons, which is going to do massive damage to your Magnezones, and then they have the Mega Absol to fall back on and do good damage to the Magnezones as well. So it's just, like, I don't see where it's going to improve. And it's like you're playing 1 Chingling and 4 other basics. It's not like you're going to get the Chingling early game every time, and that's going to let you block your opponent from doing anything and let your copycats be massive. So I don't really see the need for the Chingling anymore, to be honest. And I do like the rest of the list. So that's like the card to consider is if you want to play the very standard version, you take out a Guzma and you throw a Chingling in there. Let's head over. Let's talk about the matchups for this deck. So here are the matchups against Altarias and Suicunes. Honestly, Suicune Greninja is probably more like free matchup. It's a very, very good matchup for you. You think Suicune's going to be drawing all those cards. You're going to be copycatting. It's going to allow you to set up your Magnezone super, super easily. This version is playing double Greninja instead of, or sorry, double Greninja EX instead of double Baby Greninja, which means they don't have a really great way to deal with Oricorios. Like, they only have 1 card in that deck that can deal with Oricorios. Otherwise, Oricorio is going to be doing massive, massive amounts of work to their deck while you're setting up Magnezones in the back. With the Guzma, I think Mega Blaziken becomes, honestly, a very good matchup for you, especially if they're not playing red card. It might even be favored with the Guzma, because, like, that's their only way to win, is that burn damage. And honestly, like, if a Mega Blaziken's in the active spot and it's doing burn damage, but you're hitting for 50 with Oricorio, and maybe you don't stay burn, maybe you weave in your Pokemon Center Lady, you put your cape on the Oricorio, you only need a couple attacks with your Oricorios before that Magnezone can just come in and knock out the Mega Blaziken. So, like, they can't be burning you forever without just losing the game. And taking away the Rocky Helmets makes it so much easier. I played against Magnezone in my tournament in a best 2 of 3. And if they played Guzma, I think there's a 0% chance I would have won any of the games. Like, I don't think it would have been possible. Mega Absol, it depends on the variant, really. If they're playing like a Naganadel focused one, that's not going to be great for you because they're going to be able to get through those Oricorios fairly easily. And then awful is Hydreigon. This matchup is just not great for you in any way. Like I said, they have a fantastic way of dealing with Oricorios. They have the Mega Absol at the end of the game to just rip away that Cyrus and make it so that's not a play for them. It's just a lot that you have to go through. You got to get through probably 2 Hydreigons, and then a Mega Absol to end the game, and that's just not great for you. Yeah, Hydreigon's going to knock out the Oricorios before they really do much, and then deal massive damage to the Magnezone. Yeah, it's just a really, really tough matchup for you. I mean, they have the better attacker. They also have Rocky Helmet in there. So if you don't put a cape on the Magnezone, if you can't find the cape, and Magnezone swings into a Hydreigon with a Rocky Helmet on it, Hydreigon just knocks it out in return. So yeah, not a good matchup. But otherwise, like, it takes good matchups into the field besides that. This is just its one sore spot is the Hydreigon builds. But other than that, it's a really, really good pick into the other top decks. At number 3, I'm going to put Hydreigon Absol. And this is the list that I am currently running. I've sort of abandoned the Chingling builds. I don't think it's really as relevant in this meta, or sorry, at this point in time in the meta, and I think that the Baby Absol is a lot more relevant. But to respect the Chinglings on our side, we are playing the Zweilous. Just to, give us a little bit of protection, and also it just helps out getting double Hydreigon set up in a game. So what I really love about this deck is that it will set up fairly consistently. And the difference between this and a Mega Blaziken build is, let's say I never find the Hydreigon, right? I'm not finding what I need. You do still have the Mega Absol as a Pokemon. You have the Mega Absol plus Baby Absol package that can help alleviate that. So you can go Baby Absol, ping their Mega, whatever, Cyrus it up, and start attacking it with the Mega Absol. And that way, while you're waiting for the Hydreigons to spawn in, you aren't just dead in the water. You have something else you can do. You can rip those supporter cards from their hand. You can put down 80 damage. Something is still getting done as opposed to Mega Blaziken. This deck can just high roll, right? Like, I can go first, start Dino, and get Rare Candy Hydreigon. That can just happen, and I can win the game off of that. So that's what I really like. Like, it feels very consistent, feels like it does what I am at least playing the game a majority of the time, thanks to Double Copycat. And yeah, it just seems to work, man. I really, really enjoy this deck. It is one of my favorite ones to play. It's just the matchup spread for it isn't as great as some of these other decks I'm gonna put above it. But I think that this deck is like truly, truly scary. It is, again, it's just so frightening, man. If it sets up quickly, it can run anything off the board. Nothing can deal with like a turn 2 Rare Candy Hydreigon. Even worse if you're able to then get a second Hydreigon out. Like, game's just kind of over from there. So great high roll potential here, but with a contingency plan if that high roll does not happen. Makes me favor this deck over Blaziken so much more. And it's also, you go in with Hydreigon, your opponent has to knock out a Hydreigon and still take 2 more points. Mega Blaziken, even if you high roll with Mega Blaziken, get it out quickly, if your opponent is able to stabilize from there, they just need to knock out that Mega Blaziken and they win. If your opponent stabilizes and knock out the Hydreigon, guess what? There's still a lot more game to be played before it's over. So I love this deck. This is my favorite, stage 2 based attacking deck in the format right now. Really, really love it. Can't recommend it enough. Let's go check out the matchups. So here we have the matchups, and again, this is the same sort of thing with Mega Blaziken. If you are just able to pop off, everything goes up a tier. If you're able to get the Hydreigon on super, super quickly, everything is going to be a lot more doable. The only reason why Altaria is the lowest matchup here is they play the Chingling, right? This is like the one big deck out there that is playing two Chinglings. If they go first, start Chingling, you are in trouble. You're in a lot of trouble. If they don't, it's more doable for sure. But if they start the Chingling and they're going first, or even if they're going second, if they're just able to item lock you, things start to get a lot harder for you because they have taken away your ability to high roll on them. You can't go Rare Candy Hydreigon quickly, and they can just set up their Mega Altaria on the bench and just try to run through you with that Mega Altaria before you have had a chance to stabilize. Even worse if they go Chingling and then hit you with a red card or a Mars or something, set your hand back down to 3, and knock out a Dino. I mean, you're in a bad spot. But everything else, man, everything else is pretty good. And it's like, you just have this game plan where you are forcing your opponent to go through a lot. A Hydreigon, maybe 2, and then a Mega Absol that's going to pull away the supporters. They're not going to have a good time. Mega Blaziken, the math actually works out perfectly that, let's say you were to attack into a Mega Blaziken with a Mega Absol, deal 80 to it. If you rip the Lily out of their hand, their one form of healing, Hydreigon's going to knock out the Mega Blaziken with one more attack. That's all it needs. So, like, the math is it just perfectly works out for it. Mega Absol plus Hydreigon is going to knock out the Blaziken in those 2 attacks. If you can pull that off, like, it's super, it's so difficult. When I played against it in tournament with Mega Blaziken, the matchup just felt so scary. So, it's here at even. But it could even be higher. Like, I mean, you're 2 high roll decks, like, competing to see who high rolls first. But again, you have the Mega Absol if they're not doing anything. And with the Baby Absol, I think that helps improve it as well. Because you can go Baby Absol, start pinging damage on the Mega Blaziken, maybe force out that Lily early. If you get 2 Baby Absol pings on their Mega Blaziken, they have to use the Lily, or else, that kind of just seals up the game almost, because then you just go Hydreigon attack plus Mega Absol attack, or even double Mega Absol attack will get through a Blaziken at that point. Yeah, it just feels pretty fine. And then the Magnezone or Altaria matchup, we talked about why that one wasn't so great. Yeah, it's just a really good play into the meta right now. It's a very, very good play into the meta. So number 2 on my list is Mega Altaria, and there is quite a bit I want to talk about with this deck, specifically the actual deck list itself. This is a deck where there are a lot of different cards that you would think you would want in here. And there's a lot of successful ways to play it, right? Maybe instead of double Cyrus, I go 1 Cyrus, 1 Sabrina. Maybe instead of double Licia, I go 1 Licia, double Pokeball, because that's really like the unique thing about this. It helps in the mirror if you play double Licia instead of double Pokeball, because then you can still find your basics with it. Do I play, like, throw a red card in here, throw a red in here, as well as the double Rocky Helmets? There are a lot of good cards in here, and so I guess the good cards to consider are Sabrina, Red, another good one, and what even else? Those are sort of it. Like the red card, the red, Sabrina, those are like the ones to really consider, because I'll tell you what cards I do not see in successful deck list. I do not see a second Indeedee. I do not see a Pokemon Center Lady. What else? I don't see a Guzma in those lists. There are some cards in there that I have yet to see be played to any success in a tournament. Now, does that mean that they're totally, terrible? No, just from the evidence I have in front of me, from the games I've played with this deck, I haven't needed them to be successful with it. Other players haven't. And it's this is a deck list where it's very, very important what you're playing in it. Like, you have a lot of tools at your disposal, and if one of those tools is not as good as, another one, man, it's gonna penalize you. And I think that that's where some of the maybe matchups seeming worse than they do based on tournament data comes from, is that not everyone is playing a good version of this deck. Some people are making changes to it that they think are going to help them in some matchups, and maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Maybe they make their other matchups much, much worse by playing these cards. Because I'll tell you right now, I like playing 6 basics in this deck. This deck is at its peak when it can start Chingling, when it can start Jirachi, when it can start Chingling going first or second, when it can start Jirachi going second, so I'm not losing an energy attachment by attaching to the Jirachi. And I can still freely like bench to my Swablu the next turn. I'm not worried about my Jirachi getting knocked out on my opponent's second turn because they didn't get an attachment in. That's when this deck is at its peak. As soon as you add a 7th basic in here, that outcome just becomes less likely. It becomes less than, maybe not less than a 50-50 because you are playing so many basics, but it becomes less likely for you to start the Chingling or the Jirachi. Like, you don't want to start the Swablu. You don't want to start the Indeedee. If they happen, you know, you can work around it. But this is the deck that like, I truly believe if you were able to guarantee start Chingling every single game, this would be the best deck in the format for sure, because you just have so much at your disposal. You have item lock, you have the Jirachi, which can do 30 anywhere. With double Cyrus, that's going to set up for the Altaria, so it can knock out whatever it's looking to knock out. It's like the easiest Mega to set up that isn't just Mega Absol, right? It's just a stage 1, so you're gonna do it pretty consistently. It's just a very, very consistent deck. And yeah, adding a 7th basic in here is not great. I don't like it. I like cutting back to 6 basics, even though I wish I could play double Jirachi. Like, absolutely, I wish I could have double Jirachi in this list, but it hurts the consistency of the deck. Absolutely. The Indeedee is great for, like, the Chingling, because if your Chingling's attacking you to a Rocky Helmet, it can heal that damage off, and it's good on the Mega Altaria as well. Against, like, Mega Absol, it's going to help quite a bit, because, like, Rocky Helmet damage, it would add up. It would allow them to knock out the Mega Altaria. It can allow you to, like, if you get hit for 30, and you bring that Mega Altaria into the active spot, you get hit by 30 by a Heat or whatever. You can kind of get rid of that damage with the Mega Altaria. It's a very good card to have in it. Basically, every well-performing Mega Altaria list is on the Indeedee. Now, there are some other Altaria Indeedee variants that like can do good, but this is the one that consistently does good as well. Another thing to point out. This one consistently performs better than all other Altaria variants. You can play Altaria Giratina if you want. You can play Altaria Dusknoir if you want. You know, they might be slightly more fun to you, but I'm going to warn you that this is the deck that consistently plays the best. And I will probably do a deck list video on this and just go over the matchups and lines of play, like over gameplay, because it is one of the more difficult decks to play, I think, because again, like, you have so many options at your disposal. It's a little bit trickier to play. So let's talk about the matchups. All right, let's just start in the bad category. The Magnezone. You don't have, like, a great way to... I mean, your Chingling's not going to prevent much. It's going to shut down their Pokeballs. That's about it. The Magnezones are just tough to deal with. Like, 2 Magnezones back-to-back is a nightmare for Altaria to get through. Suicune. If it is the Suicune double Greninja EX, it's less unfavored. If it's the Suicune with double Baby Greninja, it's really not a great matchup. And that is, I mean, that just it makes sense, right? Your item lock is going to be doing a little bit, but like the scary thing is that you have to fill your bench. They also want to fill their bench, and they want you to fill their bench. They have 2 basic attackers, Suicune and Suicune, that can't be one-shot by Altaria, so, like, you're trying to 2-shot double Suicune EXs to win the game. That's tough, man. That's tough. I don't know how you're gonna do that, especially when they have Iridas and stuff. They have double giant kit. Like, it's just really, really hard. I mean, you both are essentially going for the same game plan, but they're on a basic Pokemon that draws cards in the active spot and has a much better way to heal than you do. Mega Absol variants are fairly fine. Again, it just depends on like which one you're up against. But if you are able to ping 30 onto the Mega Absol, and if they're not playing any sort of heals, if they're not playing Pokemon Center Lady in their list, then you're going to have a really good time against them. Hydreigon and Blaziken are both good. I mean, Blaziken could even be like in the free matchup tier. It's just, your Chinglings, man. Your Chinglings. They're gonna stop the rare candies, and that's kind of gonna, you're gonna get to set up your board as you want, while your Chingling is blocking them from doing much. And then you get to start swinging with Altaria and knocking out their threats, shut them down with Chingling and then hit them with a Mars. Put them down to 3 cards, and yeah, and then they have 190 HP Mega to deal with, and they haven't gotten into really much. So that's kind of the game plan there. Yeah, very, very fun deck. Probably the day, if I didn't discover that Baby Absol deck, this would probably be what I would be grinding for ranked day 1, but I think I'm going to keep playing the Baby Absol deck. It is just so much fun to me. I am addicted to it, but this is my other true love. I love this deck. And here's my number 1 pick. I'm sorry to do it, but I have my reasons. Do I think it's like the strongest deck in the game? Like pound for pound? No, but I also think it's the best picked for ranked. I'll try my best to explain. So, Suicune in the double Greninja EX variant is going to set up more reliably than most anything else. This is a very tough deck to deal with. The Suicunes with the double giant capes, the double Iridas in this list are going to give everything effectively so much HP. Greninja EX will allow you to bounce between all of your water attackers very easily. What this deck really has going for it is, again, that consistency. And number 2 is, guys, you're not just going to be playing against these 6 decks that I've showed you today. I would wager maybe 25% of the time, 30%. It's been a while since I played ranked, but a good amount of the time, you're going to hit a deck that was not on this list, seems to have been created in a factory just to counter one meta deck, and that's kind of it. Like it wants to see Mega Altaria, otherwise it just loses. This deck is going to be able to handle those counter decks so much better, because again, this is just consistency. Any of those counter decks are, I guarantee you, not going to be as consistent as any of these meta decks. Are just going to take a terrible matchup to other things, and Suicune can kind of just roll through them. I mean, that's what Suicune did last format, right? Suicune was the uncounterable deck. So if people are playing these decks with like one game plan in mind, Suicune's going to be able to overpower them almost no problem. So I think it's the best deck for those 2 reasons. It is very consistent. It takes great matchups across the board, and all of the other counter slop that I have not talked about today is going to get handled by Suicune EX. It's just such a tough deck for anything to deal with, and anything not on the same power level as Suicune is just not going to stand a chance. I don't even know how you go about countering this deck besides just high rolling on it, because we'll go over to the matchup, or being like a direct counter, which let's head over to the matchup spread and you'll see more what I mean. So like, here's the matchup spread for it, right? You take one bad matchup, Magnezone Oricorio, which depending on the day is either awful or unfavored. One of the 2. Not a great matchup. Everything else, even or favored. And like these things, like Mega Absol, on average is going to be an even matchup for you. You're going to lose if they high roll. Blaziken, you can still even beat it, even if they high roll, man. Even if they high roll, because they, like, if you go second against a Blaziken, and you can just go attach an energy to Suicune in the active spot, find the second Suicune, attach an energy to the Suicune on the bench, or attach to a Greninja EX, yeah, sure, they take the first Suicune, and then you have your other water attackers that they have to get through in order to win the game. Like, it's still so difficult for Mega Blaziken. I'm actually surprised that the matchup data says it's even, because it does not feel, with double giant cape, really doesn't feel even. I mean, you kind of force them to find their rocky helmets, and like, they can't do that and get Mega Blaziken out quickly. You just steamroll them. Mega Altaria, for the reasons we just talked about, Mega Altaria, it fills its bench up. You can just go back-to-back Suicunes and win against Mega Altaria pretty calmly. But yeah, like, this deck is it's going to do great into the meta. You prey on, like, you are going to set up more reliably than any of these other decks are. So if they don't get off to a good start, you just win the game. It reminds me a lot of Dark Tina in that aspect. When Ranked first came out, Dark Tina was just the best pick because it won. Dark Tina would win against its good matchups. And then even its bad matchups, it could still beat fairly reliably in a best of one, because if your opponent just doesn't draw as well as you do, which is like your average is drawing good, if they don't draw very well, you then beat your bad matchups too. So it was a very good play, and that's how a Suicune to me feels right now as well. Even against some matchups that are even, like, you gotta draw better than my Suicune, bro, and that's sort of tough. It's very hard to ask for. I mean, I'm drawing an extra card every single turn because of my Suicune ability. And then you have 3 giant EXs I'm going to force you to go through. Either double Suicune or Suicune and 2 Greninja EX, whatever. It's just going to be really tough for you, man. And it's going to ask a lot from your opponent to do so. So that is the end of the video. Hopefully you guys subscribe. Hopefully you feel ready for Ranked. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I don't know if I said, in my mind I said subscribed already. Whatever, dude. I never know how to close these things out. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.